If money is your main objective, please, baby,
Go
don't
elsewhere.
join this.
Go work in finance. Hi, I'm Liv.
Hi, I'm Christina. And this is our new show.
No Nepo Babies here. For the artists, the freelance hopefuls.
And for the jack of all trades, in training, and closeted creatives.
We're here to share what we know and figure out what we don't.
Because ambition should not need a trust fund.
It should not.
It should not.
It should not.
And on today's episode...
Do you want to tell us the title of the episode,
I
Christina?
love this episode so much. Could've, would've, should've.
But you didn't. No, it's just could've, would've, should've.
Could've, would've, should've. Should we explain to the people them what we mean by this episode?
Explain to the people them.
I love this title so much.
People don't need you.
So, every time you tell someone, oh, I do such and such. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I wanted to do drama as well. I used to do it, but, you know.
I used to be creative.
I used to be creative. Or what's the ones that the lads love? Oh, I would have done football, but
I was actually going to be a footballer.
Yeah, I was going to be a Premier League player, but if it wasn't for the injury that I had in...
I once wrote a literal poem about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
But it's the could've, would've, should've. How to start being a creative. And let's just start the step already here that it's never too late. So when people be like, oh, I wanted to do it as well, do it. But this is what happens when people are like, so how'd you get into it? You go into a full monologue of how to do it and they're like, thanks. And you never hear from them again.
No.
Or they never do it again. So why did you ask?
Yeah. Becoming creative, especially if we're talking about like becoming creative and that's what you do like as a profession, it's not that one day you like just have all the resources and everything available and you're ready to go. You take baby steps out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And every time you do something that feels really uncomfortable and difficult or in some way stretches your like artistic horizons, you are working towards that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always think about, you have this thing that you say a lot that is to do with this, which is that you say like, choose your hard.
Oh my God, yes, please.
So yeah, I definitely,
Please.
give us a minute. Like,
So, this topic makes me so teary. I love it. Everything is hard. Everything that you do is hard. Waking up for some people is really hard. Going to a 9 to 5 is really hard. Going for your dreams is really hard. But you've got to choose what your hard is, because my thing is, and I feel like my philosophy in life is, I don't want to wake up one day and I'm 50 something and I look back and I'm like, what if? Because for me, I don't want to live a what if. I want to be like, I did so and this happened, okay? And like, I have a poster on my wall that literally says, what if it works out? What if it all works out?
Absolutely.
Because I don't want to think of like, oh, what if I do it and then it doesn't, like...
I try to even out my like sometimes anxious thinking by, if I've noticed myself thinking a bunch of, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? I literally like challenge my brain to come up with positive ones. Ooh. What if this goes really well? What if da-da-da? Because like, that's only, if you think about it logically, it's like, well, we're not certain everything. It's only fair to think of good things as well as bad things. Yeah. And it is going to be uncomfortable. But like Christina said, the most uncomfortable thing is if you know that you want to make content, you know that you want to write a book, you know that you want to be an actor, and you just shove it down and try and not think about it. It will stay with you. If it's what you love to do, then it's never too late to get started on being creative.
Never too late. I feel like there's people that have career changes in their 40s and 50s. Like halfway through their life, they're like, this is not what I want to do. And I just feel like,
I don't think Van Gogh painted till he was 27.
Imagine.
Like that.
Was it
a lot of people like that? They don't start until really late.
Oprah what is it? She got fired when she was like 30 something and didn't actually start her own talk show until she was like in her 40s, I think.
Yeah.
Don't know about the statistics there, but like...
Well, rejections are redirections.
I love this saying. I really, really do, because I think...
You're going to have to get used to the fact that we love a good saying.
We love a good saying.
Because it's the trenches out here, babe.
You need something to hold on to.
Yeah. You need, like, that. You need something to hold on to. Yeah. And after all, we're storytelling apes. Like, words matter to us, and they kind of give you something to set your mind on. And yeah, like
affirmations. I'm a sucker for affirmations, and I feel like in the industry that we work in, when people say you need to be thick-skinned, I think yes, but more importantly, you need to be strong-minded more than anything, because there are many moments in this industry where you sometimes question why you're putting yourself through things that you put yourself through, because it is mentally draining knowing sometimes, especially in the age that we're at, we're 26, 27?
26.
We're 26, 27. And a lot of people in our lives are getting mortgages. They're getting houses. They're, doing big life milestones. And a lot of people that are non-creators don't realize sometimes the big sacrifice that creators have to do, where we could easily do a 9 to 5 and have a stable income that comes through every month and be able to do that. But it just inside of us, we just don't feel complete.
We'd rot inside.
Yeah, our soul just feels empty.
And if you feel that, I know that you know it as well, because I knew I wanted to make content for so long before I started, and I just wouldn't have done anything that I've done now if I hadn't started. And yes, I'm talking about making money, that's great, but a bunch of other stuff as well. And you've just got to start. It's funny, so when I was making notes on this episode, I kind of split it into 2 sections.
Nice.
And the first section was kind of like, if you need a pep talk, and the second section is kind of like, if you want practical advice.
Yes.
So it's probably a good idea. We'll continue we're kind of pep talking right now. And then we'll whip you into shape.
As we would. Buckle up.
Yeah, so you've got to, like you said, choose your hard. Is your hard going to be regret, maybe just putting off resentment, or is it going to be uncertainty? Like, our lives in a lot of ways are uncertain, but I'm always pleasantly surprised.
Always. I can happily say that I'm living my dream reality. This is the dreams that I wanted. Sometimes it's not how I pictured it, but sometimes it's even better. And I don't know, but this is the game that we play. It's a big risk, big reward type of environment. It's like you risk and it fails and we try again, or we risk and it comes out. Sometimes I'll be like, oh shoot, it worked. And it's like, duh, it worked.
That was the thing. Like, when I sat there writing in my notebook, I want to be paid to go on holiday, I want to be paid to go on holiday, I could not fathom a way that this would realistically happen.
But
I
you
don't
had the
have a
belief.
huge following.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. There could be many people before it was me, but that was the best thing I could imagine for myself. Like, if I could have anything I wanted, what would I be doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then it happened.
Yeah. I also had this on my vision board as well, that I wanted to be able to I want to travel for work. I want to be paid to travel for work. When I was always growing up, coming back to like parents and always telling you what to do and stuff, especially in the creative. My mum wanted me to be a journalist. She's like, because at least you get to travel. And I think it's so funny because she's always spoken to existence certain things that I don't even realize that she realizes it's happened to me. But I get to travel for my work sometimes, where I don't have to pay for anything and all that type of stuff. And it's so weird because my mom wanted me to be a journalist, which is still in the media creative industry, but I still get to travel and stuff like that. And we put that on our vision board because we said we vision it for us. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen, and all the little things I do on a day-to-day basis will lead up to that.
And which has, whether you're creative or not, or maybe you think you might be, having a vision board is a great way to figure out what you actually want.
Yeah.
Or even if that's a bit too wishy-washy for you, literally just write a list, because here's the thing as well, success is subjective.
Yes.
You need to figure out what your version of success is.
Just figure, yeah.
You need, because otherwise you are constant. I think this is how me and you can happily say, we're doing what we want to do.
Yeah.
We're living the lives we want to live,
Yeah.
because we've decided for ourselves what that looks like.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that we don't want to progress more and come across things we don't even know yet, but it does mean that you actually are giving yourself a sight to set towards.
Yeah. Goals. These are our goals, and we're like slowly achieving it. But it's also, I think it's very important to discuss as well as it is, yes, write down these goals and tick off these goals, but don't do it as, okay, cool, tick, I've done this job, now done. This, like, enjoy the moment too, because I feel like sometimes when you're ticking off these list of goals to do, or these visions that you're doing, you're not going to feel satisfied, and there has to be a level of satisfaction in everything you do, so you don't feel yourself constantly chasing the next bag, the next dream, really, the next thing.
Being creative and like a capitalist society are very contradictory.
Very.
To each other. But obviously, you know, everyone deserves to make an income. It's not like you deal with the hands you've been given. But I do think I lost my complete train of thought, babe.
No, I hear what you're saying, and I'm gonna pull from that.
Go.
Don't let money, if money is your main objective, please, baby,
go
don't
elsewhere.
join this.
Go work in finance. Go work in finance, babe. If you want money here, check down sofa.
Matter of fact, go into insurance. I know that sounds so random. Go anywhere but the creative. When you're in this creative industry, it's because you genuinely have a love for the process, and I think that's one thing as creators I've recently discovered, that we love the process. We're in love with seeing something from the beginning of its idea all the way to its full completion, and still, even in that full completion, us as creators, we're always trying to see how can we make this better? How can we improve on this? How can we do this? And it's never about the, like, I mean, the money is great. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I don't want to be paid for what I'm doing. I do. But I want to feel like I'm doing a job that doesn't feel like a job. I want to feel like I turn up. Yes, at 7 a.m. in the morning, but I'm doing what I love. And that makes me happy.
That's the thing as well. Money doesn't make you a creative. Creating makes you a creative. And you're not going to make money, first of all. Like, I didn't make money off content creation for the first couple years I did it at all, but now I do. And even then, it's not like consistent or reliable. So you have to be okay with that as well.
Yeah.
And now that I think we've talked about these more like holistic ideas, let's talk about practical advices to like get started.
Oh, yes.
Get out of the rut. Like, I'm going to start with one, which is, don't have friends that make you feel insecure.
Oh my gosh.
Don't.
Please don't. You see, there's the saying, here we go with the saying, they say your network is your net worth. And I feel like every time people say that saying, they think of it on a financial capacity, but you have to think of it in an emotional, mental, and spiritual aspect as well. If you do not have friends around you that believe in you, or genuinely just believe in your vision of wanting to do anything, or just believe,
or like a lot of the time, friends that hate themselves will hate you.
Because they're
you are doing your thing. You're a reminder to them that they could just do shit if they wanted to, but they don't do it.
And so you start to, oh, is that what you done? Oh, how's your little business going? My little business.
Like, if the main thing you're thinking in your head is, oh, you know, Natalie's gonna make fun of me, because I was thinking this.
Really?
Honestly, get rid of them. Get rid of them.
The sooner the better.
The sooner the better, absolutely. Because not only do I now have higher standards for the people in my life, and this is why I love Christina. Like, Christina always encourages me and lifts me up. Thanks, and that we've always been that for each other.
Always.
I know, like, it was so unique meeting you because I had...
in the space that we met each other as well.
Yeah, because I had before experienced with people who maybe aren't living out their potential. If you attempt to do that for yourself, people become resentful of you.
It's true. I think it's so important. Support means so much to me. If like anyone knows me, the people that I have around me are so selective that I've got to a point where I'm like, these are my people and that is it, no more. Growing up, this is probably why I love sayings. My dad used to tell me the saying, never have more friends than your fingertips in your hands. And I used to be like,
it's a one in, one out system.
I was like, what do you mean? But it's like, no, it's true. You have to have people having too many friends anyway is always problematic, but have intentionality with the people that are around you, because they're the people that are going to support your dreams and be able to support you on the days that you feel shit. Because let's be honest, in this
there's quite a few days.
There are some real dark days, and you've got to have
We're going to have some episodes about mental health and stuff like that, because it is so, especially with like content creation, like, I don't think it's good for your brain.
No.
I'll be for real.
No.
Like, on a surface level,
content creating
it is a vessel and a tool for me to be creative. But the way that TikTok works, I feel what it does to my brain. And I know it's not good. Like, they say it's exactly like a slot machine. Like, when you get all that engagement come through, it's like jackpot. Your brain lights up and everything. And then when you don't get that,
it's that validation sometimes.
It affects your sense of self. But okay, let's say that you're like, oh, but I love my shit old friends. I just think they're really nice.
Okay, have your shit old friends, but also have...
Here's what you do. You make a creative account. Say you want to make content. I'm just going to use making content as a broad example.
No, this is good.
Make an account, block them. That's how I started posting poetry on the internet. I made an Instagram account and I blocked all my close friends. That should have been the cue, like...
If you're blocking them...
These ain't your friends around here.
No, it's true. But, like, that is a good point to go from. If you're so genuinely scared of what people think that are around you, and if you don't have the immediate strength to, like, distance yourself away from them, then... create an account and block them, but also reflect on if you have to block them because you feel like they're not going to support you. I think that is a big.
And remember, you're always going to be moving a step ahead. You're not. It's not like, okay, how do I make thousands of pounds of content by posting this video? That you're not there yet, babe.
Don't think about that.
You're going one step ahead, and I personally found like feeling cringe, being embarrassed. It was really great exposure therapy. I felt horrible for probably the first 50 videos I posted on TikTok.
Yeah.
Easily. And I'd also say I only feel like I conduct myself how I'd want to talking to camera using my phone in the last few months. I feel like, I don't know about you, but I had a bit of weird cognitive dissonance as having done acting. And then with content, like, I'd almost go to show up as my actor self.
Yeah.
Which is not the same.
You get into that voice.
It's not the same. Like, it's not me.
It took me a while to shake off that because I do YouTube as well. And the reason why I started YouTube, I wanted to do it, but everyone kept saying, you do really good on it. You do really good. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, great. So then I did it. But the real reason why I actually started it is because I wasn't doing any TV or film, like, roles. I kept doing stage, so I was like, let me use content creating as my tool to help me be more comfortable in front of the camera and know my angles. So like, this is like almost like a workshop because I work better with doing
and that's so important. That's why you don't get into it for the money, because first things first, you need to just practice.
Yes,
you need to make a bunch of videos if that's what you want to do, and they're gonna suck.
They are.
Like, when I get engagement on a really old video and I'm horrified. It looks horrible. I'm really awkward.
Yeah.
But it's only by making those, and as well, having those moments where you're like, oh, this is so embarrassing, and then wait, you don't die.
You don't die.
Nothing bad happens. And in fact, you're like, oh, okay. And now I'm at this point where I was paid $9,000 to go traveling in Central America because I felt uncomfortable again and again and again until I didn't.
And sometimes that is a great testimony in that trying. My first couple of videos on YouTube, the sound was terrible. But this is what I mean when it's like, do not let resources or funds limit you into thinking that, oh, I can't do this, or it has to be perfect. The amount of conversations I've had with people that are trying to do content or creatives that's like, oh, I just want it to be perfect. It's never gonna be perfect. And even
if you have all the perfect equipment straight away, you still don't have experience. And that's the thing you need to get. In fact, if anything, you're going to be way stronger at what you do when you can't rely on having all the like great tech or anything. Like, I bet after you did that video, you were better at doing sound.
No, do you know? No, let me tell you this. Yeah, I was working in the call center this time, and I really thank me being around community. No one told me that the sound was bad. It was only when I was like, oh, like one person, shout out to this person. They're like, yeah, I can't really hear you. I was like, can you not? And then everyone was like, yeah, we didn't, but we didn't want to tell you. I was like, are you not mad?
To be fair,
just tell me,
because people don't like to hear the truth.
Yeah, but I'm an embracer of truth.
I know, but people don't. The reason people have a lot of beef with me is because they ask my opinion and they don't think I'll give it.
Yes.
So they'll be like, what do you think?
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I think this could use a bit of work, but I like this. And people were just looking for, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
brilliant,
I'm that friend as well. I'm not gonna tell you, like, if you want my opinion, I'm gonna say as it is. Like, I'm so sorry. I just feel like there is a way to tell people, but I also don't want to mollycoddle people. If I want to give you advice and you've asked me for it, I'm gonna say it as I want to say it.
Yeah, or at least like let me know ahead of time that you want me to
Just say yes.
Yeah, be like, can you just say I'm doing really well? And
no, but then what? How do we grow?
How
do we grow?
But growing is up to you. That's the thing. You can, if you don't want to be taught, like, be embarrassed, if you don't want to ask for help, like, they're all things that could lead to you growing, and you can avoid. It's up to you. Either like so much of it is up to you, and especially now, like with content, that's the great thing that obviously on No Nepo Babies Here, like, you don't need that money to get that platform.
No.
I'm not saying that those things don't help.
They do help, but don't let that be the determination of whether you do something or not. Do something because you want to try it out. Do something because you love it. Do something because you want to give yourself a voice. You want to give yourself a platform.
And just let yourself make bad art.
Yeah.
Bad art is so underrated because you need, like, it's so necessary to get, like, if you're constantly using this lens of, what will people think about this? What will people think about this? You're not going to make anything that people actually like, because people connect to art when they make it within themselves. When they make it within themselves, people connect to it. When you go, oh, this is what people are going to connect to, it feels forced, and it's just not there.
Sometimes the content that I've put out and the things that I've created, I will be shocked at why that did well. Because as far as I was concerned, I sat down and I just did this content and I put it out. And that's another thing you have to get comfortable with doing. Don't hold the content. If you've recorded it, put it out. The amount of videos I see. Oh, this is a perfect example. You know the video, very demure, very mindful. So they literally said they were crying at work and they were having like the most terrible day and they were doing content, but they stopped because they weren't like getting anywhere. So they decided on that day to pick up the phone and just go, look at me at work, even though I don't want to, very demure, very mindful. And that video changed everything. And sometimes it's the least expected video that you think that's gonna that will end up doing really well.
A lot of the time, if I put serious thought into a video, flops. A lot of the time that I just pull out my phone and like works. People like it. For whatever reason.
I saw a video that said this is the reason why a lot of people don't like creatives or like people that like procrastinate sometimes, because someone that's like very skilled at something, they will like even take a couple of days to prepare something, but like some people that are procrastinators, they will like take their time, avoid it, and then when they finally do it, it ends up doing really good. But it was just like, even though it's like, you're not actually lazy, you're actually being creative. That procrastination.
It's called the tortoise brain. There's actually a term for it. And that's basically, creatives use this a lot. People with ADHD use it a lot as well. And it's basically when you step away from a project or you have the idea for a product and don't start doing anything, to an outsider, it looks like you just moved on, you're just not doing anything, you're leaving it to the last minute. But on a subconscious level, your brain is working on it. Which is why often, I'm sure when you're doing these things, occasionally you won't be thinking about it, but you'll be like, this is what we should do.
Yes.
It's because you are working on it. Like, kind of, you've compartmentalized thinking about it. So you've got that little tortoise brain, that goes a lot slower.
Yeah.
And you can't really notice it, but it's still being creative. I mean, that's the thing as well. If you're going to be creatives need time to do nothing.
Yes, honestly, because in that nothingness time, some of the best things happen. This is going to sound so bad, and I don't want anyone to take this as advice, but the amount of times this year that I've done self-tapes or auditions, I've done it on the day, like as in like, it's like, it's due at 9 a.m. and I'm in my kitchen at 4 a.m. recording a video. And then we're like, you got a record. I'm like,
that's the thing. Like, you don't have to be perfect.
No.
You just have to do it.
Yeah.
You just
even
have
if it's
to
at
take
4 a.m. in the
steps
morning, 5 hours
towards
before a
it,
deadline.
whatever it is. And like, don't expect, your art is not for you to like, it's for you to make.
Yes.
And don't expect to like, because as well, we have our taste in art, don't we? And you are never, when you start out, at the level of your taste. Like, I find that so hard in writing because I read quite a lot. So I know what good writing looks like.
Yeah.
So then when I was in the period where my taste was higher than my ability, that's really difficult.
Yeah.
But you just have to keep going.
Exactly. And also, speaking of keep going as well, do not, as I say this, but I still find myself going into this ball of hole of numbers. Do not let the numbers dictate how much you should keep going or not.
Yeah.
It's so variant.
And it literally
goes
is like
and
this.
down. And one thing I will know with all of these apps, with all of these things, and with any aspect of life, consistency is the main game here. Yeah. I know it's so easier said than done. And every time people tell you, what should I do? Consistency. You're like, shut the up. Like every day. But it's true. There's a reason why they say it so many times. So let's say like this, right? You're upset because your video got 10 views. Imagine you're in a room with 10 people. 10 people have seen your thing. Now, imagine it's like 100. Imagine a small room and there's 100 people inside. You will barely see everyone's eyes. That is a lot. Whether you don't realize it or not, sometimes our art and our creation is not for many, but it's for that one. Because you don't know what that one person will feel inspired from that, or what message will relate to that person. And sometimes it's better to touch one person's heart than touch...
Literally. And that's
sound like Lady Gaga here.
There can be 99 people in a room and it only takes one.
Just one.
Yeah, I think it's really... I'm going to say something a bit controversial. If you want to start, I don't think you should consume too much content. I think consuming too much content, like sitting on your phone for hours and hours, does not give you creativity, does not give you inspiration. Sure, but like that is not... You're feeding things into your brain, but you're not actually giving yourself the time to sit and be creative. For me personally, I make the TikToks that do the worst if I'm sat on TikTok the whole time. When I'm actually away from it, doing my own life, and come back, and rather than just sitting on it all day and then posting something, it does way better.
Yes. Because
I'm actually going to like getting water from the well, do you know what I mean? Rather than just like dealing with the mulch that is flooding the streets of my algorithm.
No, it's true.
But I like engage with art. That's the thing. I think because you should make art, not content as well. And I think it's important to, I think if you want a practical thing. So I know some people are going to be hearing this and saying, but you haven't explained how do I actually do it? I just feel like I'm not creative. I can't be creative or whatever.
I think everyone has the ability to be creative.
You absolutely do. And I have like practical, if you're this arsehole, it's like, you haven't actually told me how to be creative. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, you ready? First of all, the art you like is a great springboard.
Yes.
Even if you say you want to be a writer and you love a certain poem or a certain song, write something in the style of that. Write something inspired by the opposite perspective in that song. Like, use it as a springboard to create your own thing, because that's totally fine. As long as, especially with learning and crafting, you don't have to worry about any kind of plagiarism or stuff like that. Things like that are just for yourself. And then if you're still like, oh, but I just can't. Do you know about Morning Pages by Julia Cameron? It's The Artist's Way.
Okay.
It's a very popular book. And basically it's a method where you wake up each morning and you make yourself write 3 pages of train of thought. And it helps to creatively unblock you. And she's done it with so many people. And it really works, because the idea is what you're doing as you're writing and you need to keep writing and you have nothing to say, you are silencing your critic. So your critic's going, you've got nothing to say, but you have to keep going.
You have to keep going.
Then by the time you sit down to actually make art, your critic's used to being silenced. And it's true. And it's like, you don't have that part of you that's going, this is shit. What you're kind of telling that like, thank you so much, but I actually don't need your help right now. And that as a practice like you can get the book, The Artist's Way, which is amazing. But if you're just looking, the main method is morning pages. You just write 3 A4 pages as soon as you wake up. Has to be 3. Keep going, even when your brain's like, I've got nothing to say.
Yeah.
And that will help to creatively unblock you. So if you're going to be one of those people that's like, you didn't tell me how to do it, I'm telling you how to do it.
And another thing as well with creativity, like if you want to be inspired, whatever niche you're doing or whatever, art form that you're doing, sometimes leaving your house, I know that sounds ridiculous, but sometimes leaving your house and just seeing the world, go out for a walk in nature.
Touch grass. For the love of God, touch
go
grass.
and eat a food that you've never eaten before.
Go to a gallery.
Well, it's free. Go to a museum.
This is part of the Artist's Way. So one of the so the main thing is the morning pages, but she has different things for you to do each week.
Yeah.
And one of them is she thinks each week you need to go on a self date where you take yourself to like a gallery or on a nature walk. And the idea is that this time is entirely for you and your inner creative. She calls it filling up the well.
Oh, I love that.
Because you can only pour out if you've like taken it.
Come on now.
Yeah. And this is what I mean when I say not to consume too much content. Content consumption is mindless a lot of the time, especially on something like TikTok. Whereas like going out with yourself and seeing real things, that's a mindful practice.
It is. Even like doing an activity like swimming. I, as a person that is a overthinker, when I am in that pool, all I have to think about is surviving. I'm thinking...
You a little water baby?
I love it. I love it. I have to think about controlling my breathing because I know if my breathing goes out and I start beating too much, so I'm in my body. I'm not even here.
Absolutely.
So doing things that take you out of your brain and into your physical...
Or harness the brain-body connection, like bring together brain-body-spirit, which is like yoga, walking, things like that. That's how you get to that flow state, which is where... really magical stuff happens.
That's the magical stuff.
That's where I got the idea for this. I was like, I think Christina and I should... I was like, I'd love to do something like this. Who would be the right person? Christina. And then I was like, any other thoughts? No. And then you were just immediately like, yeah.
No, because the moment that she caught me was I just come back from Bulgaria and I was collabing with everyone there and working with everyone. I love working in a team. As much as I love working by myself, I love working in a team. So when she messaged me, I was like, this couldn't be a great time. I was like, I've got some spare time in between my projects. We could do this. So I was like, absolutely, let's go.
And the rest is history. But
yeah. And for the people that still say, but you still haven't told us what to do. Honestly, there's not much else that I can do apart from tell you to pick up whatever device. Just start.
Go towards what pulls you, because we don't know that. You know in your gut what you're interested in. Yeah. I knew that I wanted to do spoken word poetry years before I had the balls to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and I knew that. And you can keep putting it off and hoping it goes away, but I'm going to tell you now, like, that kind of love for making art, it doesn't go away if you have it. So if you have those pulls, I hope this at the very least felt like a little bit of motivation, because it can be hard to get. And that your art, your content, your input into the world matters
so much. Your voice is so important, and as a person who is in acting and is trying to dab into her writing, because I've been writing for a long time, but I've always thought about what people would think, because I think I'm more vulnerable when I am writing. But the thing is, there's so much stories that are being told in the world. Why is your story not? I believe everyone, it's not that everyone doesn't have a voice, it's just how do we amplify these voices? And that's why we have this platform that we're creating here, so we can amplify the voices of working class creatives who are scared or who are in the process but don't know where to go with it.
Well, it's up to them to decide from themselves whether they're going to be a coulda, woulda, shoulda, or a can, will, done. Boom.
Bingo. Ooh! God, I love that title so much.
It's a pleasure being here with you, my love.
It's always a pleasure.
Feels like we've reached the nice...
I know, we feel comfortable now.
Yeah.
Well, I've been Christina. Thank you so much.
I'm Liv. She's Christina Verse on socials. Ooh. I'm the Unpoetic Poet on socials.
She is. Sorry, before we sign off, I actually have a question for you. If there is something that you would have told your younger self what would you tell her in regards to creating art?
Damn.
I know.
That's deep.
I know.
What would I tell my younger self?
And I'm going to give you an age as well.
Give me an age.
10. What would you tell 10-year-old Liv?
Stay true to what, it sounds so stupid, but stay true to what you want to do and not what other people expect of you. Because I don't know if you know, I won a writing competition when I was like 12.
Did you?
It was like it was pretty big. So it was the first Chris Evans 500 words short story competition.
Nice.
And like something like 20,000 people entered it. So obviously when I win that, everyone in my life is like, well, you're going to be a writer now. And the kind of person I am, that pushes me the opposite direction. I was like, no, I felt like everyone expected me to be something.
Yeah.
But then because I was being stubborn, I didn't write for like 5 years. Because I was like, shut up, stop telling me what to do.
No, I hear that.
So be true to what you want and be open to blessings outside of the ones that you can perceive.
Yes.
Because I like that whole thing being like, I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to be an actor.
Circle moment though.
Yeah. And then eventually I was like, oh, well, I guess I do like, but then that was the thing. I thought I liked acting because I liked writing stuff, putting on a show.
Yes.
When you're giving me the lines, I'm like, this is a bit shit. It depends on the lines, but like it's because my first year we did pre-1800s plays and I wanted to end myself.
No, don't.
I'm showing up at 9 a.m. to stand here between two fellas having a philosophical debate while I'm going, oh, goodness me, boys, please don't yell in the dining room. And I was like, no. What about you? What would you say to little Christina? Oh, I want to give her a hug.
Oh, I want to give her a hug too. I do. 10. So 10 is like year 6 going on to year 7. That was the first time I realized that I was, I did, you know, when they do the end of year 6 play. So we did Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat and I played Pharaoh. I really wanted to get Joseph. And what I would tell my 10-year-old version is sometimes we want things, but we end up actually getting more than what we actually wanted. So sometimes things may not seem like it's gone your way, but it's actually goes in a better way
that you can't perceive.
Yeah, because my role actually ended up being better than Joseph, if I'm not fucking honest.
Or like jobs before that, like I really wanted and I didn't get. And if I'd have had them, I wouldn't have been able to do other stuff.
Rejection is a redirection. Well, yes.
Gorgeous.
My socials are ChristinaVerse _ for Instagram and TikTok, but ChristinaVerse on YouTube.
I'm the Unpoetic Poet, pretty much everywhere. And yeah, this has been so exciting. Yes. I hope you feel encouraged to, at the very least, get started.
Yes.
Maybe you'll write a little poem in your notes app.
Just a little line.
You'll do a little doodle.
A
naughty little doodle in your notes.
Or maybe a little cheeky, pick up your phone, a little quick
Get on the stories. Get on your IG stories.
Get on your IG stories. What a better way to start.
One day, we'll all be dead.
Lord God.
Deader than dead. And then you're still going to be coulda, woulda, shoulda.
No, it's
not on our watch.
Do you know how many ways?
And then we're like,
sorry, no, because that just it brought a saying to my mind that in the graveyard there are so many untold stories, untold inventions because they thought of it and they never acted on it. If you get an idea, I don't care if it's 3 a.m. in the morning. I don't care if it's 4 p.m. I don't care if you're in the middle of a train. If you get an idea, write it down. Because I always think that we are like radios and we're like transmitters. And sometimes ideas will come to us and you may never get the idea again. So if you get an idea,
don't let it go to someone else's little noggin.
Michael Jackson said that about Prince. He was like, I don't care if I have an idea at 3 a.m. I will do it right away because if I don't write it at 6, Prince is going to have it. And I believe him. And I know he's probably had so many ideas. He's like, and the next minute Prince is done. So listen, get the idea and do it straight away.
Yeah, we probably don't need to say our socials again because we've said it so many times. But I will say, if this has inspired you in any way and you have any questions or ideas or thoughts or ideas for episodes you want us to do or things you want us to talk about,
please.
Let us know because this is more about the community than anything else. And we're just pleased to be here.
Yeah, so Catch y'all on the next
Hasta luego.